Hi there, this is Women in Law podcast, and it is proudly sponsored by her Dream Initiative. This podcast is to challenge, inform, and inspire you as a female who desires to thrive in the legal field. So make sure you stay tuned. We have amazing content and we have opportunities to listen to women who are doing fantastic in the legal field. You could also follow us on Instagram at her Dream Initiative. Hi everyone, welcome to Women in Law podcast once again. This episode is completely out of the blues, and really I just got to work and I was just thinking I need to do this to help one or two people that are interested in leveling up this year. So I've always had this philosophy, especially growing up and realizing, okay, you can't just travel because you want to travel. You have to travel for a reason. So right from when I was a child, if you see anyone traveling out in my family, it's probably because we're traveling for you know an excursion. It was academic related, and this becomes tough when you are way older, you're in your undergrad, and you're thinking, okay, how do I you know especially if you don't have the funding, how do I present this to my parents and say, oh, I just want to travel to somewhere in Europe and just have fun? You can't do that because it's a lot of money, for fun. So yeah, I just decided to share one or two things. People really don't know, but there's something called summer school, or I would say winter school, depends on whichever season you're interested in traveling. So we have summer schools from June to September, and we have winter schools January, February, March, around that time. So if you are listening to this right now, I'm talking about today is January. So if you're listening to this right now, you are probably um you know only eligible to apply for the summer schools. And so we have summer schools where you could travel fully funded by whatever institution is offering the course. Now, the search for this thing is quite hard, and honestly, how I discovered it, I have no idea. It just happened in 2019 when I saw this summer school in Germany for law, because obviously that's like the major thing I'm interested in. And once I saw this, I was like, oh my god, and I applied and I got it, and I was able to travel. So the same thing would have happened in 2020, but COVID, and 2021 I had school. I was really like cooped up with work, finals, and all that stuff. So it wasn't possible to travel 2021. So undergrads, I'm telling you that this is really gold. You just need to do the proper research. I am going to leave some links, and in this episode I'm actually going to give a free resource to everyone listening right now. And I don't think I could send it to so many people, so maybe like the first 20 thereabouts. You could just send to her Dream Initiative on Instagram. You could follow us and like some of our posts. Very few posts, but you could like some of them, and then you could send a DM with your email address, and I will send the document straight away to you. It is basically a guide on most, I won't say all, because come on, opportunities come up every day. So it is a guide on most international internships you could apply for. And I'm telling you that this is I can't recall how many pages, because I already have like ones I've already ticked out, so I really don't look at it so often. But it is a document that has so much information on how to apply, the requirements. I'm talking about international organizations, OPCW, ICC, ICJ, IBA, all that initials. Law students will relate to most of these initials, but these internships are not limited to law students. So if you are in the business, economics, accounting, you could definitely see opportunities there. Health as well, for sciences, medicine, dentistry, you could also see some resources there. I think I recall seeing one on Red Cross, Yes, and WHO as well. So yes, back to traveling with summer schools and winter schools. Now, I really don't know about most other parts. I'm talking about US, UK, Canada, because I realized that these schools, even applying for masters, you would realize that these schools are very expensive. So these schools actually have their summer schools and winter schools, but it is paid, and it is not paid as in if you're thinking it's about in naira, if you're thinking it's about 100,000, or in dollars if you're thinking, oh okay, let's see, about $1,000. You are joking, no, because it's very expensive, and you'll be thinking, winter school for just 2 weeks. Yes, it is very expensive. So I kind of moved away from research in schools over there. But if you're really really interested in it, you could actually go to certain institutions. You just go to their page, you would see, you could just type in a straight away search for winter schools or summer schools, or you could just follow the study or research menu. You would see maybe um winter schools, you could see summer school, you could see something called short courses. Any of these, you could see certificate courses as well. You could check any of these ones. And the interesting thing about these countries is that most times when they give you this certificate, it is kind of a no-brainer that when you are applying in the future to any institution in that same region. For example, now, if I did a short course in the University of Toronto, and I want to apply for my PhD, I will definitely put it in my application that, oh, I took a course in this institution. Because especially if you did well, I mean, because sometimes we have some tests or exams or project work that you will do at the end of the summer school. So if you have a good reputation with the lecturers already, some of them could even recognize your name from the beginning of your application and be like, oh, interesting, so this person really wants to come. They'll be honored, and consider you a bit, compared to someone who hasn't had any relations with them in the past. And another thing I would say is that when you are applying in these other regions as well, you have to think of, obviously, the geographical location. Now, in 2019, I traveled to a town called Trier, which is like a very small town in Germany. And one thing I really loved about that place was how strategic it was. I'll talk about that, like the EU generally. The EU is underrated. So back to what I was saying, if you are you have to be careful of geographical location and make sure that it is somewhere that is very very good for you to explore other things, other opportunities. So it could be a small town that there are no there's no courts. Oh, I'm talking about as a law student. Maybe if you're a medical student, the major hospitals that you see on the news, you don't see them around that place. There's really no access into the main towns. It's better not to go to places like that, because you would actually find out that traveling out of that region into another one, maybe for, like, if you want to take a trip and see other things, you find out that it would take a lot from your money. So if you're trying to save costs, just make sure that you are going to a place that you don't need to spend so much exploring. Yes, so be strategic about the cities or the towns that you decide to go to. Now, regarding the EU, I love talking about the EU. I don't know why. The EU is a very complicated place, and okay, I would say this straight away, that if you are applying for visa as a Nigerian into the EU, it kind of gives you access into a lot of countries. I mean, while in Germany, I traveled to about 2 other countries, and that was because I had the visa. So that is how interesting the EU is. You are literally a train away from another country. So you see all these people that just talk about, oh, I traveled to 17 countries. No, it's not like as if they took 17 flights. Sometimes they just travel to one EU country and then took trains to the rest. Maybe every day is possible. I'm telling you that it's something that people do a lot. I kind of met this woman when I was in Tria, and she was talking about her experience with having so many stamps on her passport, and she says she just books one hotel in any EU country and then travels, you know by during the day she travels to certain countries, tick it off her list, come back at night to that, the hotel she booked, sleep, next day she continues. So if you are really passionate, like travel, as in you're this person that wants to talk about, oh, I traveled to 20 countries, the EU is definitely a good idea. So diving deep into the EU now, there are two sites or three that I actually check. I check the DAAD, and that's particularly for Germany. Then I check the summer schools in Europe site, and there's one last one that I can't exactly recall now. Like I said, I would leave all the links probably on our Instagram page or in the podcast description, anyone, so you could just see it and check. These sites have list a number of schools and a lot of summer schools, short courses, certificate courses, whatever. Now I need to prepare your mind. The truth is, sometimes you will see huge amounts. You would see a summer school going for 2,000 euros, and you'll be like, where am I going to get this money from? Now the thing is, I have to, when people talk about scholarships, they talk about scholarships with this mindset of, once I look for it, I'll find it. These institutions are literally, except if it's like a foundation or an organization sponsoring the scholarship, they are literally paying for you. And in some cases, they pay for your flights, they pay for your accommodation, they pay for your feeding, and even transport within the country you're traveling to. So it's going to be hard, definitely. They don't just want to give you the money cheaply like that. So you have to go to these schools. Apart from these sites I'm leaving, you have to go to the schools, organizing these courses. Like, gone. You need to actually go into the website of the school and then check. Sometimes you check and you see, oh, there's a partial scholarship, there's a full scholarship. They will specify what their scholarship is about. But I just want to encourage everyone listening right now that even if you find a school a course you're really interested in, and you really want to go, and you don't mind spending some amount of money, I would advise you to still send a message to them, asking them straight up, is there a scholarship available for this course? Because I would really love to take it. Sometimes they really do not have it in mind to give out scholarships, but when they see passionate messages from people, they'll be like, oh, this person really wants this course, and they could consider. So you see some emails like, we actually don't have any scholarship, but you could apply using blah 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 blah, and then you are in. Now let me also say this, not every school would give you scholarship. I mean, some just want the money, they really do not want to see you there. So some will tell you straight up that, oh, no scholarship, so if you don't have the money, we're sorry, but that's literally the end. And one last thing I would say about opportunities generally is, when you're searching for opportunities, for example, I remember telling a friend about Coursera, how that if you want to take a course, a short course, online course on Coursera, that you can actually get the course for free, even if you see a price tag attached to the course. And person was like, wow, I didn't know this. Well, the truth is, I've always been someone who I spend time a lot on the internet. So when I see a course, I see a huge amount of money. These people are human beings. They can tell that not everyone will be able to afford this course. So it just seemed, unrealistic that there won't be any scholarship available for the course I wanted to take was on international human rights. So what I did was, I just kept scrolling down, reading about the course, reading about the instructors, and then I just saw in a very small print, I just saw, to apply for financial aid, fill this essay. I said, essay. Within like 20 minutes, I had, written something down. I went through it, I reviewed it, and I sent it. And I think in about 10 days, I got a response from them that I could take the course for free. So don't just look at courses, things you want to do. If if the thing about passion is, if you're really passionate about something, I always believe that there is really a way to explore your passion. There's nothing like, oh, there's something I want to do, but I don't know how I could learn more about it. The world has evolved beyond what we can imagine and what we can tell. While I support, paying for certain things, like I see people pay for, short courses, summer schools. I mean, it's fine if you have the money, to be honest, go for it. But if you are, you know, kind of considering, oh, how do I budget this? How will this fit into my budget? Then you just have to keep researching. That's the thing. Researchers at the end of the day win. So you have to be the internet person, you have to be the inquisitive person who goes beyond, the regular Google search. And if you want to search for things like this, and you search on Google, check page 1 and close it and say, oh, there's nothing, then trust me, you really need to do more. You need to reach maybe page 10 of the Google search to know, oh, okay, maybe this thing doesn't exist. But at the end of the day, opportunities are out there. You really, really, really do need to research. And so, yes, I already said I'll be sending a document to the first 20 listeners who follow us on our Dream Initiative and send a DM. Also, I'll be dropping the links for the summer schools. Now, please, I would really, really say, like, I've been stopping and saying, now, please, I have to beg us. If you are traveling for a summer school, after listening to this and, it works out, please send me pictures. And it will be lovely to see pictures and, just know that, oh, okay, so some people actually applied this and it worked. So you could, I'm not really certain, you could ask me questions on any summer school you're applying for, or anything you see that you want to do or travel or whatever. But I think you could send a DM to her Dream Initiative and we'll take it up from there. If you really have burning questions and you are serious about it, please, nobody should come and ask me questions and not travel at the end. Once I give you the thorough guidelines and steps and everything, and I have spoken, you must apply and you must travel. That is the condition. So anyone messaging me, please make sure that you are sure. You have to check, your school calendar, make sure that it rhymes with the time of the scholarship or the summer school and all that. So last year I had a winter course I took, and then a summer course I took. Unfortunately, that summer course I couldn't take it fully because I had exams in between, so I didn't get the certificate. And in EU, when you are given certificates for these summer schools, you are awarded in ECTs. It's like this grading system they use in Europe. So if you want to go for your masters, you are going to transfer all these ECTs to the final grade you will get in your masters. So if you are applying for masters in the EU, I need to add, then those ECTs will definitely be transferred. So short courses, really, it's a win-win in my opinion, because most of these institutions, take you out for excursions, they make you explore places, see new things, and you also learn. I mean, this is gold. So I feel you just need to do a little work and you're done. So yeah, send me your pictures, send me your questions if you have any, and I hope to see all my listeners, exploring, learning, and just enjoying life. Our next episode, we'll be having another interview with a seasoned, I need to add the word seasoned, a seasoned female in law. And I have to tell you, if you learned a lot from the last episode, then you would know that. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.